Hey everyone, this is the user's guide and the survivor's guide to the fourth and fifth dimension with Chris Gordon and me, Rebecca Roseberry, interviewing Chris and the masters about how we can navigate life with ease.
With ease. So, and this is a perfect day for whatever the masters bring to us. We think we know what we're going to talk about, but you all know that that's not always true. They always decide, but I think we're okay. I think we have a plan, and they're going to let us at least get started. I don't know that that's where we'll end up, but it's where they're gonna, I think, let us start. You'll notice I'm in my car, so you will hear noises, but they are much quieter noises than it would be if I were in my office, because they are drilling under my window, and that is extremely distracting. So we're going to try for a little less distraction here. So I'm at the marina in case, not that that really matters, but it's a nice working environment for me. I'll put it that way.
And the sun is out and it's a beautiful day.
Yes. So yeah, there may be a few shadows here and there, but it's all good. It just is what it is. But that does segue into what you said of this whole guide is supposed to be about how we are able to become more fluid.
Yeah. Okay.
And everything in 3D is so structured. You know,
Right.
we think we have freedom and free will, but it's extremely, once you get into this fourth dimensional, once you step back and you get to come out of that 3D sludge, and that's pretty much what it is, 3D sludge. Once we come out of that, we can begin to see things that we never imagined were actually true. And that's not the same as a conspiracy, or it may sound a little bit like that. This is actually seeing that, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I believed that, whatever that is, any topic. And one of the things that we have that are helping us with that is our chakra system is changing. So what we want to do today is a little bit of history of where we were, where we went, and where we're going.
Perfect.
Okay. So if you have any questions, we can start there. If you don't, then I'll kind of, again, I had to bring some notes with me here that I wouldn't had to have done if I'd been at home, but that's okay. That's part of being fluid, not letting things that disrupt our vision of what things should be. When those hiccups happen, we can, move with the hiccup and keep going and not really lose a beat per se. And so that is what the chakra system is designed to help us do. It always has been. That isn't changing. Anything you want me to start with particularly, or just jump
in? I think we covered a while back in the earlier chapter, like that we had sabotaged our own chakra system eons ago. I'm trying to bring this back by memory, but it's like we did have more active chakras, that's the word I'm going to use, active. And then they were deactivated or kind of shut off. And now we were just dealing with a 7 chakra system. And so that, I think that's kind of where it's at. And now they're coming online again. I don't know, you explain it.
Okay. So very, very correct. Nothing that we're doing in this energy shift, and whether people want to call it new earth, whether they want to call it an energy shift, whether they want to call it ascension, terms at this point right now are pretty much able to overlap or mean the same thing for a while. So as we go through this, we are literally waking up and remembering. It really is not about learning anything new. It feels like we're learning things new. It seems like we're being asked to do things that are absolutely impossible. Sometimes I feel like they've asked me to climb up on a high dive and dive into a cup of water. You know, it seems like it's an impossible task until you dive, you have trust and you dive, and you realize once you start going down that you're not falling and you're not going into a cup of water. It's it's an entire pool, and it's there and it catches you, and it's fluid. It's, you go in and you come up and you float and you're buoyant and all of that. It's the trust. And so the chakra system helps with that. I'm not very sure at this point if the what we're going to call the new chakras, because they're new to us, are memories. If what they do in the correlation of our aura, chakra, body part, organ has the same need to be worked with as it was when we had the 7. We talked about the root chakra. It was red, and it was our fight, flight, or freeze response. It was the only chakra that was activated already in the womb before we were born. The others came online exactly like learning how to walk, learning how to talk. Those were all things that were programmed into us, but we remembered those things as we grew, and the chakra system was no different. And so as we needed those chakras and they came online, and we realized that this chakra was attached to the liver, or this chakra was attached to your mood, or whatever. I'm not saying the new chakra system doesn't do that, but I don't think right now that's our main focus, because along with that, we're changing from a carbon-based body. We have all kinds of things going on, but we can know that they're opening and they're there to help us. So if we sort of know that part of our ailments, part of our mood swings, part of all of those things that are happening to us that you read, if you're on Facebook or if you are on any other kind of social media and people are writing in and asking questions, we're on this roller coaster ride. And so if we know that this chakra system coming back online is part of that, it doesn't make anything necessarily easier, but knowledge is simply knowing something is the biggest part of being okay with something. So when we understand something, we tend to understand it, and the more we understand it, the more we trust it. So when I was talking to the masters about how to approach this. The chakra system, we all got really excited when people who can see auras or people with cameras or whatever started to realize that we had these new energy sources in and around our body. There's some discrepancy about a few colors or this, that, and the other, but basically those things, and I think that's why those things don't matter right now as much as they will in the future, because as we shift, things are going to be different for everybody until these things get set into place. So when we came from the fourth, fifth dimension world, and so back when Atlantis and Lemuria and other places existed, we didn't need a 12, 14, 24, 36, 182 chakra systems. They were still around us, through us, but they went dormant. But we need the 7 basic chakras to survive. So they sort of redefined them. And we had our root chakra, which is right at the bottom of the tailbone and slightly forward. We had our yes, we did. We had okay. Wow, that just completely, it has been so long since I've talked about the 7. It just really, the sacral.
The sacral,
Thank you.
Sacral base.
Sacral, okay, which is below the belly button. We had the solar plexus, which was above the belly button, the heart. The first thing we noticed was the high heart. We went heart, and when the high heart started coming back in, that was like the first thing. That was the chakra that came in and said, there is something else out there other than what you've been living in for the past few thousand years. And so this was the chakra that started bringing our awareness. And then we had the throat, we had the third eye, we had the crown. Basically, we still have those chakras, but we have additional ones, and the colors have changed. And colors are great if you are going to work with colors, and we'll talk about that. But at this stage, what we found working within this 12 chakra system, and I've been working, I've been blessed to be able to work with some people that are in the field of the 14 and 24, and finding those and finding out how they're affecting our growth into this new energy. I think to feel them is more important right now than to be able to see them or to identify them with color or a meaning.
Okay.
So if we were doing this as a class, one of the things I would say is let's release the need to have those colors. Because like everything else, they are realigning. So the chakras with the organs, with your spirituality, with your physical, they are melding and changing, in your aura also melding and changing. And so we know that when things are growing, they change from day to day to day. If you plant seeds in the spring and you watch them grow, those seeds you put in the ground after 6 weeks or so look nothing like the seeds that you put in the ground.
Right.
They've morphed into, and to explain that, or to try to go ahead of that and say, I'm putting the seed in the ground and wait for that huge bloom to show up.
Mm-hmm.
We become discouraged because we want to see, where are they? Why aren't they? Well, then we start moving things around and we're not even giving the seeds time to germinate.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've disturbed the soil. If we can look at them as seeds and have a healthy anticipation for what they're going to produce at the end of the journey, the end of the growth cycle,
Mm-hmm.
that's so much more fun, and it's so much more uplifting, because not that anticipation is always uplifting, but it's kind of like being at Christmas. You know, there's been this pretty box over here that's been covered up, and you've been waiting to unwrap it, and the anticipation of what it is wonderful. But if you open it up and it's a pair of socks, it might not be as wonderful as it was when it was sitting there and you really weren't sure what it was going to be. So that's kind of with working with people. And I've been doing this since, over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have found is we still have that 3D-ism in us enough that we become too wrapped up in what we do not have yet, instead of being more focused in where we are in the system and in the new calibration.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, for our book lovers, there are a couple of books that are okay, but we've already seen where these Ascension or aura changing color books are already have whole chapters that are obsolete. Well, we know that this book at some point will become that, because what we talked about 6 months ago is already changing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more, that's why it's more of an internal thing. Mm-hmm. It's not about what somebody's going to tell us to expect. So I'm going to bring out my cheat sheet for a minute, and we're going to talk about, we have this thing called fifth dimensional chakra activation. Mm-hmm. And we did this a couple of years ago as to see if trying to activate the chakras would enhance the experience more than simply allowing the chakras to come online on their own.
Okay.
And what we found out was that in most cases, it really didn't matter. It didn't make a difference. It didn't slow anything down, but it really didn't speed anything up, with the exception of the throat chakra. And the only time that one actually had a different or an immediate reaction was when we did this with groups and they spoke the activation words out loud in unison to in that energy field that they had created when they came together as a group. When individuals recited it on their own, the throat chakra came online at the same pace and speed that all the other chakras came online.
Okay. So what do you make of that? I mean, that's fascinating.
Isn't that fascinating? I've been so fortunate to be able to be involved with these professionals that measure this kind of thing. And it goes back to our 3D belief at the beginning, our ego, that said, oh, if we call these angels in to work with us on these chakras, we can make it go faster. Well, that's a very three-dimensional way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But this is not any different than anything else. We are so caught up in the, oh my gosh, here we're going, that we're missing the, oh my gosh, here we are.
Yeah.
And that's what that taught us, is that as we shift individually,
Mm-hmm.
now a lot of people really worked on it. So their chakras did come online during all of this, but they were aware, they were changing things, they were moving into those spaces on their own prior to this anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this became an enhancement instead of an activation.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And you know, an enhancement or a tool to assist us in doing something is totally different than my invoking an activation and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to speed something up.
Yeah.
We also found out that the more relaxed and the more people didn't care,
Mm-hmm.
the faster it happened,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they were not ruminating or overthinking it.
They were more surrendered and like free and allowing and all that good stuff. Yeah.
All the stuff we've been talking about, so that we can put into practicality, you know. And I understand all the stuff that we're told, you know, we need to walk away from this or release that or whatever, and those words surrender and sacrifice and relinquish, those words that we don't like. But once we get into the frequency of those words, of doing and accomplishing those words, then exactly what you said happens, is we're in that frequency of acceptance and allowance, because none of that stuff we were holding on to is a part of us anymore. And what happens is we've opened up and we've made space, because the things that held us back were the things that were clogging the space. So
Yeah.
we've cleared the space for this new stuff to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So until we clear the space, new things can't, they have no place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so the science team that did this decided a long time ago that, and I don't know all of the ins and outs of this because I wasn't involved at that stage, but they did know that archangels, and not the archangels, this is not a religious, when they call in archangels. Archangels are attached to religion, yes. These are spiritual beings that science and religion agree have an energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, religion sees it as one thing, science sees it as another, but they are a bridge for the two. So these are energies that both sides agree exist, for lack of a better word. That's not literal, but for lack of a better word. So we're not even going to do the invoking, because we're simply going to allow. So for anybody watching this that has the activation sheet, that's why we're skipping over it. And if you don't have the activation sheet, well, then you didn't miss anything. So we're going to start at underneath our feet. Okay. And we call this the black and white earth star chakra. So black and white are the assigned colors. And colors are usually assigned one of two ways, either by camera, heat and color energy imaging, and kind of like an MRI, but with more color. Or people who can see auras and see people's chakras and visualize. There are some people who can see those things through vision, and I think that's kind of where some of the colors are. They're not drastically different. It's not that at all, but they're not exactly the same name or exactly the same hue. And so we're, even though we're going to talk about that, if it doesn't feel right for you to have a color, or if you want it to be a checkerboard instead of, or you and somebody else wants it to be stripes, or all of those things are fine. There is not a wrong way of doing this. And this is a very natural thing. It's something that happens whether we do anything with it or not, which is great. And that was proven during this test. Their own, and so we're going to start at our feet. One of the things we noticed when we did the testing is the Earth Star chakra, and it's called Earth Star for a reason. Okay. It represents Earth herself, and it's the one that is in the ground with Earth herself. And we noticed that people were calling and saying, I'm having trouble walking, especially when I'm paying attention to this Earth Star chakra. We realized it was psychological, because this goes approximately, give or take, we'll say 12 inches or so into the earth. A lot of people had problems walking because they couldn't, to them, it was like spikes in the ground. And they couldn't pick their feet up high enough to walk. So if, when you're working with your chakra system, and whether you know what whether you have a visual of what you're working with or not, if you simply just tune in to your chakras and allow them to open up and do what they do naturally without any assistance from us, if you're working with those and you find yourself maybe tripping a little bit, or maybe not being able to get those first two steps right off the bat, close your eyes and bring that chakra up to the sole of your foot. Do whatever you have to do. It's only in your mind that it's creating that. Yeah. The energy itself has no hesitation whatsoever. So you can walk all day long, and your chakra could be all the way to the core of Gaia, and you would never have a stumble or a hiccup. It's all because that's what we perceive. We kind of draw it in our subconscious as a cartoon figure, and so we see these spikes in the earth, and that's what's tripping us up. So it is not the energy. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you can bring it to the top of your feet, and when you're done, when you're sitting watching TV, when you're in bed, the energy really doesn't move. So you're going to be, you don't have to bring them back out. You don't have to worry about that. Simply tell yourself that the energy is at the bottom of your feet. And so that is the Earth Star chakra, and that is our new grounding chakra. And I'm not going to get into specifics because, like I said, there's a lot of changes. Mm-hmm. But the grounding, we know that that's what it's doing. We know that that's getting our chakra roots open, and we are reconnecting with Gaia. We are reconnecting with our Mother Earth, and we have been away from her for a long time. And so when we gravitate into the earth, and we allow our chakra system to go there, not simply when we're meditating and imagine and see our chakra coming from the base and down the legs. Well, we thought it was going to be quieter. Going, from the root down our legs and into the earth. We are grounded now by the earth.
Mm.
And so we don't have to do that meditation anymore. We don't have to visually put ourselves there anymore once that chakra has come online.
Mm-hmm.
The body, Gaia, nature are doing it for us.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are being done for us. So how wonderful that we don't have to, we can, but we do not have to do anything for this change to take place in us. And if you have any questions along the way, just throw them out there.
Well, I do have a comment.
Okay.
Just before getting on the, to record with you, I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, I was thinking, like, if I had any questions for you or what was coming up for me. And oddly enough, I had this, before I knew it, I had this wave of inner peace that came over me. And it's still with me. And I'm like, oh, that's where I've been all along. It was just blocked by all the mental chatter and the BS and all that stuff stopped. And I'm like, oh, I've arrived. So my point is to add to what you just said, that it's our mind that trips us up figuratively, metaphorically. Like everything is fine always, but the mind will go on and on about how it's not fine. Life is not fine. So I just wanted to just add to that. Like you're talking about essentially just let things be, right? Like,
Yes.
right.
And I love the fact that you brought that up, because that really could have been the whole entire book, period.
Yeah.
We have arrived. Trust.
Yeah.
Let it be. Allow.
Right.
And that could be the whole entire book. Because we have these minds that overthink everything and get in the way, and they put up blocks that we aren't even aware we have.
Yeah.
The ones we know we have are one thing, but we're into things that we aren't even aware that is a block, or that it even exists within us.
Mm-hmm.
So hence the chapters. And a lot of sometimes the chapters may even seem like they're somewhat repetitive, but it's that repetitiveness that starts to kind of like unlock
Mm-hmm.
those things that are blocks that are so deep within us.
In that are all fear-based nonsense.
Yes. And it's been in our world for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and ancestral and everything else, that we're not even aware that these things exist. We see ourselves in this bubble over here, and what we're finding as we unlock these things is we've actually been living over here.
Yeah.
And so definitely that whole I have arrived, I'm allowing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not buying into what others want me to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our chakra system is for. Our chakra system is to help keep us in that healthy balance
Yeah.
so that these things become more easy to obtain and more natural.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is a life force, and it is essential that they stay healthy and working together and everything. But that's not as mandatory when you have multidimensional chakras versus a 7 chakra system.
Mm-hmm.
So if you called me and you wanted your chakras realigned, I have no problem with that. That's absolutely fine. Um, the fact that the 7 are close, but not exactly what they used to be, don't do exactly what they used to do, but they're still our 7 survival chakras. Those are the ones that to sustain a healthy life need to be in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
These other chakras are good at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They assist the other chakras. They have their own things too, but they assist the chakras. And one of the things they assist is keeping them open enough to be receptive. And a lot of times, even though we don't feel like this is who we are, most of the time what we're finding is, as we're working with people in these chakras, is I'm not open and receptive because I don't think I'm worthy to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in that statement that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person is equally as worthy as every other single person, place, or thing on the planet. And so
Well,
as these open, we
yeah.
can see that better and better.
Well, what you just said was I think that I am unworthy. There's the problem right there. It's that damn thought. I've been playing with this. One of the books that I'm reading is talking about how is reminding me and helping me remember that the heart is fine, everything's fine, the being is fine. It's the head, it's the mentations, the fear that trip us up.
Yes.
And that's the part of us that we need to quiet and that needs to surrender and to allow. So I just wanted, just for our listeners, it was a good refresher of like, that's like, I'm gonna call that aspect of me the problem child that needs to sit down and be quiet, everything's fine, because the heart knows and resonates with the natural rhythms of what is. And
Yes.
it, so um anyway, so I'm just playing, and it's funny, I have this happy mind shirt on. What does the bottom say? It says happy life, happy mind, happy life. I put on. It's like perfect.
That is very perfect. That is so, so perfect. Because it's so true.
Yeah.
It's absolute truth. If
Yeah.
if our mind is healthy and happy, the heart keeps the rest of us healthy and happy on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, we're complete,
Yeah.
so we have a happy life. Um, so if we go from the feet and the black and white earth star chakra,
Mm-hmm.
and we go up, um, we go to the base, which is where the root, or what we called the root, is.
Okay.
Um, the chakra itself, as far as location, hasn't changed. The name is now base because it's
Okay.
no longer a root. It is the base. So when you think of a base, what do you think of? Um, stability.
Yeah.
Grounding now. So grounding when we only had the root chakra had to do a lot. It had to be rooted into Mother Earth
Mm-hmm.
so that we could be one with Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also our base. It was also it was that thing that kept us from having trauma, or because that would be freeze, or being able to handle it with fight or flight. Um, and so it doesn't have to worry about grounding anymore. That's what the Earth Star chakra is for. Not that it can't ground, and all of these have the ability to help, to assist, to take over for any other chakra in the system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they don't have one focus. They're not pigeonholed anymore, so to speak. So the base chakra is platinum in color.
Mm.
So our red has turned into a platinum. If we go to where the sacral was, and we still call this one sacral, but we've lowered it slightly, still below the belly button, but a little bit lower. And it is a bright pink.
Mm.
Still sort of does what it did before, but it's more enhanced. So we talk about one of its one of its personalities, let's say, our passion.
Mm.
It's where we hold our passion. It's also the part that gives us internally a lot of problem if we're having an imbalanced passion.
Mm.
And passion is so many different things. Passion is not necessarily about human relationships. It can be about, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about grandchildren, whatever the passion, puppies, whatever the passion is.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we hold that kind of love.
Mm.
So again, it a lot of times it is connected with um with a sexual kind of passion, and it can be.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a broader understanding of that's where all passion is held. Now it's held other places as well, but that's the first place we come to once we've left Gaia and start working up our body.
Mm.
Now we have a navel, which is in the belly button, where it sounds like. It's luminous orange, and it's called the navel chakra. And that's why the sacral and the solar plexus shifted slightly, was to make room for this chakra. And this chakra is really, really important right now.
Mm.
It will eventually have a whole different meaning. But as we've said lots of times, not everything in this breaking of cycles, which is what this fourth, fifth dimension is all about, breaking old cycles, three-dimensional cycles, so they no longer are part of us. That's its job right now. So once our cycles are pretty much broken,
Mm-hmm.
it will no longer have to do that, and it will take on a whole nother form of, it may even change color. I don't know. We're not sure exactly what is going to happen, but we know that it will stay because we had it before. So we know it will stay, but it will have a totally different function than what it does now. And this one works with each chakra. It works with all of our meridians. It works with emotion. It works with almost everything that is the makeup of a human being.
Mm.
And it is the one that is working to not only help the others come online, but it's also the one that will help them lock themselves into place.
Hmm.
So one of its biggest challenges is getting us to relinquish our old perceptions that no longer serve. And that's very hard. And we if we think about it, we can feel when I'm being asked to not believe something or not trust something that I've trusted to be truth, and my ancestors trusted to be truth.
Mm.
The pit of your stomach is where you feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it other places too. Your head can hurt, your this can, but it's that right behind the belly button that does this.
Yeah.
It also makes sense because almost every single nerve in our body has some direct or indirect route to the belly button.
Hmm.
And so every part of our body in some way, and again, it's not always direct, some are very indirect, but they all have an attachment in some way to the belly button. So it makes sense that if that's where the nervous system is kind of in our alignments, and our meridians are all kind of going through, around, over, however they're going, that would have to have a huge impact. And so as this is the one that if I'm going to work with one during the day, it's the one I work with. And I will simply place one hand on the belly button and my other hand on top. And I can sit and listen to you talk. I can give speech. I can read. I can be doing absolutely anything. And working with that chakra is no more, no less than simply placing one hand on top and the other hand on top of that hand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we do need to remember that as we sit there, we need to shift hands and replace. That's for balance, because one hand is always giving and one hand is always receiving. So to create a balance and to clear that space out, if we simply place our hand, we don't have to think, we don't have to meditate, simply placing our energized hands that every single person on the planet has on top and sitting for a while, and then changing hands and sitting for a while, clears out so much. And we didn't have to do anything. The only thought we had to have was to place the hands there and reposition them later. And you can do the placing hands, you can reposition as many times as you want. Some people like to start with one hand and the other, and then time themselves. If that's what makes them comfortable, that's what they should do. Other people sit there and go, oh, I almost forgot, and they do it real quick at the end and they'll switch hands, and that's okay. Some people want to switch multiple times. There is not a wrong way. What would be wrong is if we didn't trust enough to be, because that's what we're doing. We're simply being. And if I have to have my mind has to be going all the time, and I can sit and watch TV. The hands, the mind, the hands, and the heart are doing the work. I don't have to do anything. So, that will help immensely when you're working in this field. And again, you do not have You don't have to know what it's doing, why it's doing it. It is no different than any other physical change in your body. So your feet grow, your hair grows, your fingernails grow, toenails grow. You grew taller. Some people, once they hit a certain age, start to grow shorter. So these things our body does naturally, and we never, ever, ever think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't sit there and go, okay, thumbnail, you're not growing as fast as the other. Those things don't cross our mind on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the chakra system, what we found that the chakra system should be. Is it an interesting study? Oh my gosh, yes. Are we still studying because we know things are changing and we might find new things? Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But for bringing the chakras online, we can do all those other things, but we do not have to. This is the easiest thing we can do for our walking in out of the third and into the fourth. The solar plexus is same place, just slightly higher, and it's gold or golden. It's a rich golden color. When I see it, when I can see it, it's a rich golden color. Very, very, very calming, very, very calming color. Then we move up to the heart, and the heart right now, the chakra, high heart are together.
Oh.
I'm not saying that they're not, that they don't work independently with each other, but they're both this pure white light. And so when I'm doing, for me personally, when I'm working with the masters or my spirit guides or my ancestors or other individuals who are working in their chakra system, if I lay my hand right here, kind of in between the two, that more than covers any energy that I'm working with in that place. And they are both white. And so when we work with it, we do not have to distinguish between those two unless we really want to. Then we come to the throat, and we talked about that before. It was so amazing. I was honored to have two groups that we did this activation with, like I said, over 2 years ago, to see if in our ego, do humans have to help? And the answer was no, we got it. But both of my groups, so one was a very eclectic mix of people that didn't even know what a chakra was when they walked in the door. Their neighbor drug them there, or however they got there. And then there was a group of shamans that did this. And in both groups, we read through it. I kind of read it, and people sort of kind of followed along, and nothing changed. But when they said it the second time in unison, and they had, and we took some time at the beginning to bond a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And something started to change. And so we did it a second time, and our third time. And when they did it that third time, or that second time on their own, this deep blue, this beautiful royal blue color just literally popped out.
Wow.
And so the light blue that had been there, or lighter blue that had been there, was completely replaced by every single person in both groups to that that deeper royal blue color. And it was absolutely amazing. I actually, the first time I saw it, I had to sit down in a chair.
Yeah,
I
because it's
was
overwhelming.
I was so overwhelmed. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a chair there, and I was walking around the circle so that, kind of helping the energy follow along. And
Mm-hmm.
it was so overwhelming that I grabbed the chair and just sat in it.
Wow.
Um,
So can you share what this mantra is or what this quote unquote activation is?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm curious.
yeah. So we're going to go through and we'll write down the activation alignment part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we'll go ahead and do the rest of them, and then we'll start the activation.
Okay.
So we have the third eye, and again, the third eye and the crown chakra are the same,
Really?
and they're crystal clear.
They're the same.
They are the same.
Wow.
And so we know that eventually our chakra system, once we get all cleared of all 3D, will begin to become almost like a rainbow or a prism, where the colors will, because they will be working in unison so much, they will braid and share colors and energies. So the
Wow.
heart, the crown, our connection with source, okay, and our third eye, our ability to see what source wants us to see,
Mm-hmm.
and the heart, so the two hearts are pure white.
Mm-hmm.
These two are crystal clear.
Wow.
And so when we see these two, and it's really cool when people's third eyes are changing. This usually changes first, not always, but this usually changes first because our connection to source is so much more difficult for some of us to release our old belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not letting go of our connection to source. We are understanding our connection to source in a whole new way.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes so much sense that these two hearts would be the exact same right now during this transitional period, and that the crown and the third eye would be the same
Yeah.
because of this transitional period.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I just think it's really cool. So we have kind of in here, so like back of the neck, kind of up a little bit here. It's called a causal chakra. And if you think about it, it's the base word is cause, the
Mm-hmm.
cause of something, cause and effect. Okay. So when we think about it, this is the chakra that is not going to come online until we are really close to making that 180-degree leap from from the life we have now to the life we are embracing and living in this new energy. So whether we call it life or I can change that, it means the same thing. It won't come online until our 3D isms are gone and we're living a fourth dimensional life. Now, does this mean I can't have any 3D in me? No. We are earth beings. There will always be a tether. I'm not going to say it's actually in us, but it's how we stay grounded too. We have one-dimensional and two-dimensional life beings on this planet anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so third dimension is simply, it's going to be nature, just like 1 and 2 are. They're nature, they're found in nature. They're not human. Humans will no longer be three-dimensional life forms. We will be fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional life forms.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we've released as much as we no pun intended humanly can release of that 3 dimension, this one can come on. What happens is when this one comes online, the base chakra goes from being a swirl, is how it presents itself, of a little bit of red,
Mhm.
because you're still 3D, which is what the root was all about, was 3D. And so that platinum is there, but it's not totally platinum. You still have flakes or remnants or dots or swirls of your root, because we haven't released enough of our three-dimensional belief systems. And we understand that. If you tell me if we were to walk up and say, okay, they're going to completely crash the world's way of dealing with money or finance, we would all panic, because we cannot imagine how we could survive if we didn't have a currency. What happens is, as we go along and that happens, we don't need to worry about how will we survive if we don't have a currency, because once we remove that fear, the ability to be able to do that will simply slide right in and take and become activated. And so it won't be fear-based anymore. So there won't be a reason to fear. There won't be the division that we have now. There will be an abundance for everybody, and everybody will have abundance, because we'll understand that's what was supposed to be going on all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So once the fear is removed, and the fear are the cycles, they're fear-based cycles that we have to break. And break is, it doesn't sound like a very fourth dimensional way of putting it, but it's a very literal way of putting it. They have to be broken. So because if not, you can glue it and it falls apart, and you do this and you do that. It has to be in two pieces or more. So that'll come online, and when that happens, the base will go directly into a solid platinum, and those will be the last two chakras that come online for everybody. Then we have, about 8 inches above, we have the soul star chakra. And the soul star chakra, some people might remember in the early 2000s, it was gold, and we called it the God Star chakra. It's the soul star chakra, and it's magenta pink. So it's it's a very, very vivid color. And then above that, about another 6 to 8 inches, we have the stellar gateway. And the stellar gateway is that thing that we hear the term thinning of the veils a lot. That's the one that all the veils are no longer existent, because we don't have our blocks, and we can be these multidimensional people. So we find, again, we lack the belief system in ourselves that says, oh, I'll be able to communicate with my loved ones, or I'll be able to do this, or I'll be able to go into a meditation and say, I need to, I'm at a crossroads, and I need to have this information for my highest and best good, and the highest and best good of all others in the universe. And those answers will come, and they will come to us through, thank you, through the stellar gateway. And that is now the golden. So all the God chakra did was move up one. Because that's exactly what it is, a stellar gateway. I don't know where the actual term God chakra came from. I just remember that it was about 2002, 2001, 2002, the first time I heard the term, and really started working with it, and then started working with other people with it. So it's simply moved up and changed its name to Stellar Gateway.
Mhm.
So we're going to go ahead and get these, unless you have any questions, we'll go ahead and do the activations of these. And again, if you want to do them, and I like doing it because I feel like I'm morphing, like I pay more attention to my chakras when I do this. Do I have to do it? No. But I feel like I'm doing something. I'm a
Mhm.
part of this change.
Mhm.
And for me personally, when I feel like I'm a part of the change, and that I'm working with this evolution, and the ones that have ordained this evolution to happen, what happens is I start to feel more worthy, and I start to feel like, oh, I matter.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter whether I do it or not, but I feel like I'm a part of it. It's kind of like anything else we do. You know, if you go to the baseball game, you want to stand up and cheer. You know, you may not be out there playing, but how many of us say, oh, my team won, we did so good? Well, we didn't do anything because they're 500 miles away, and I'm sitting in my chair watching TV and eating bonbons, and may not even have watched the game. Okay. But when I see the score, oh my gosh, we did so good. Wow, we were awesome. When we feel like we are a part of whatever we're doing, it's so much sweeter.
Yeah, it feels like, yeah, like you're participating in your evolution rather than just doing nothing. I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. No, you're
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm moving, but I have to plug you in. Probably should have done that at the beginning, but I thought I had enough battery, but I was wrong. So I say, when we're doing saying the activation, for me personally, it was important for me to breathe, to do a little breath work at the beginning. Sort of simply to center myself, and
Yeah.
and to put myself in that space of higher than myself. So I suggest that you breathe a few times, 2, 3, 4 times. And then we're going to call on the archangel Sandalphon, and it's spelled S, like sand, SAND, and then A, all one word, ALPHON. Some people pronounce it Sandalphon. I think it's okay. I did, when I started this, I did go to the some site where you can go, and it's correct pronunciation, supposedly. So anyway, and he's the one. And so we're going to say at the beginning, we will go ahead and state this if you want to. And I can send this to you, and we can put it up on something. Sure. Okay. But I am invoking the archangels to assist in the alignment and activation of my 5th dimensional chakras. And I say that some people still call that an intention. I call that a statement. To anytime I say I am taking ownership of something. And so I've just owned the fact that I really want I want to be a part of the universe, and I want to be activated. Okay, so that's what that means for me. And so it's Archangel Send-Off, please open, align, and activate my black and white earth star chakra. And I wait a second or two, you don't have to be in a hurry. And then Archangel Gabriel, please open, align, and activate my platinum base chakra. And then Gabriel's an active boy. It's Archangel Gabriel, please open, align, and activate my bright pink sacral chakra. And Archangel Gabriel, please open, align, and activate my luminous orange navel chakra. It's really, we know from this that these three chakras are going to remain working the same. And because they are so, and I think it was you the other day, maybe not, but I'm going to give you credit for it, that we were talking about chakras, and you said that those three are the ones that, if they're going to be out of alignment, if there's going to be an issue, if there's going to be something that is holding us back, it's going to be in that system in our body that those three chakras are in the area responsible for sit in. Okay. And I thought that was lovely, because that's why Gabriel has these three in line. I do want to stop right here and say something. I had somebody when we were doing this say, I can't say that because she was in a very anti-masculine energy, male-female kind of place for herself, but she wanted to do it. We have to remember, angels aren't really male or female. They have male or female yin and yang, like we all do. So if I'm talking to Gabriel, I'm calling on the masculine of myself. It has nothing to do with a boy angel sitting somewhere, okay? But because we are visual people, sometimes we need to see those things.
Yeah.
But our soul isn't male or female. We have tendencies, but our soul is our soul. And so the angels are the same way. The names and the masculine and feminine names were given to these angels to describe which energy we're working with, not that Gabriel puts his pants on and has a button down shirt.
Right.
It's the energy of these divine beings that we are working with. So if you're not into angels, if you're not into that thought process, and you're having difficulty going there because the word archangel is throwing you off, drop the archangel. These entities know who they are.
Whether you believe it or not.
Yeah. They know who they are, and they know that our visual is the story we have to tell ourselves, so we can accept that there's something else out there that is helping us, that we're not alone. Okay. So sorry, but I had to do that real quick. The next one is Archangel Uriel. Please open, align, and activate my golden solar plexus chakra. Archangel Chamuel, that's Chamuel. Please open, align, and activate my pure white heart chakra. Archangel Michael, please open, align, and activate my royal blue throat chakra. Archangel Raphael, please open, align, and activate my crystal clear third eye. And there's something when I get to heart, I do real well, but there's something about when I do navel, heart, third eye, and crown, I have to touch those. I think it's probably personal. I haven't really ever noticed anybody else doing it, but there's a connection. If that makes you feel better, please, by all means, do it. Okay. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to start my car.
Well, we could,
No,
how much more is there?
no.
How much more do you want to get into? We're almost
Okay, hold on.
through.
Hold on. I can't hear you again because it's just what it is today. Go ahead. Okay, say something, please.
Hello.
Okay, I'm back. So we only have these, and then the rest of these, and then I think that's pretty much where I want to leave it because I
Yeah.
want to let people think about it.
Yeah.
And then we can have a part 2 next time or later, or give people a chance to kind of
Work through it.
And let it sink in and see if anybody has any questions.
Yeah. So Raphael is for the pineal and the crown,
Yes,
right?
right.
And
And
then
then Jophiel is for, so Raphael is for the third eye, and then Jophiel is for the crown. So
oh,
two different ones, but I have this thing where I just put my hand here. I don't know why. Then we have Archangel Christael, and that is please open, align, and activate my pure white causal chakra. And you'll notice pure white, even though it skips, the causal is also pure white. It goes with the heart. Why does it go with the heart? Because until we open our heart and release some of our fear and anger, so that would be why it's white. That's what its job is to help us release that fear, so we no longer have a prejudice or a judgment. So these two are the same as far as color goes. Does that make sense?
okay.
Okay. And then Archangel Mariel and Zedekiel, 2 angels for this one, for our soul star. And then Archangel Metatron for the stellar gateway. And then I always say thank you.
Yeah.
And when we were doing the study, we did it 3 times a day. People since then are doing it when they think about it, once a day, twice a day. And I will get this to you, and you can
Circulate it
however that works. I can't fathom how that works in my head, but I know you have it down pat, so that's all that matters. Do you have any questions?
No, I think this is great. So, I know we're under very unusual circumstances, so I don't want to keep you. This was good. We'll circulate the information when you send it and continue on. This is
I have no idea how long we've been doing this.
me
I mean,
neither.
I'm good if we have questions, or if we have something we need to say, I'm good. Or if we're past time, then I'm good there too.
So just to recap, like we can participate in this consciously, or trust and know and allow that it's happening anyway. There's nothing we have to do.
Right.
And I really I have you brought a lot of intrigue to this, the royal blue throat chakra, that it activated in a group only. I am ecstatic about that. I want to hear more about like the how, the why, the, what does that mean? That's fascinating.
I think it's very fascinating. And the people that did this individually, theirs opened, but it did take longer and it wasn't in unison with
Yeah.
anything else. And so that's what I find is that, to me, that was absolute validation that this is a collective consciousness shift.
Yeah.
And has nothing. Yes, we're supposed to go internal and find our part of the shift internally and release these things that are out here. But that even though I'm doing this individually in that respect, everything, every frequency I move, I'm connected with so many other people, places, and things. And that whole chakra in unison simply drove that home for me in huge ways. I think that's why it was so overwhelming, was not seeing the colors change, but to understand how, even though they were reading it for themselves, saying it out loud by them, or saying it out loud themselves, as they shifted and heard the words, it created that chain reaction. And that's the part that I think was just simply overwhelming, was it went beyond believing and knowing, but experiencing how connected this shift in energy, this leaving 3 dimension and going into the 4th, 5th, and 6th, how absolutely connected that is.
I want to propose something before we end.
Okay.
I would love it if we did an online throat chakra activation on, we could do a Zoom. Doesn't have to be, I mean, I know we're getting closer to the holidays and all that, but maybe in January, who knows? But my thought is to have an online activation. What do you think?
Oh, I think that would be awesome.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'll work on advertising that. As these ideas take so much time. But yes.
That's wonderful. I think this whole this afternoon has been delightful.
Awesome. This is fun. And I'm sorry that you were displaced and kicked and sitting in your car.
It's okay. I thought about it and I said, you know what? This is living what we're talking about.
Yeah. Just winging it. Winging it,
Yes.
going with the flow.
Going with the flow, being fluid, and not allowing a hiccup to become something.
Right. We're just moving here. Doesn't matter. We're going here today. Don't have to make a story about it. Don't have to do anything. It just is what it is.
I think I felt like it was so appropriate. So that's why we did it. And didn't worry about the fact that everybody gets to see the back of my seat.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah. But I thought that was kind of appropriate.
So thank you, everyone. I'm gonna end the recording. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Chris. Thank you,
Thank you.
Masters. Thank you for all of this fun information, and look forward to our throat chakra activation class online in the, upcoming weeks. I don't know when, but whatever. But thank you.
Thank you.